Hello to all my Flosstube neighbors and welcome. I am Chris and this is XrossStitch. This is my 10th Flosstube video. I am finally in the double digits and it's Tuesday, July 20th, 2021. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much. You know, we are a tight-knit and supportive little neighborhood here, and I appreciate each and every one of you for taking the time to watch. If you are a new viewer, if this is your first time seeing me, fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a fun ride, and it's going to be bumpy. It's always a little bumpy, but it'll be fun, hopefully. I hope that you like what you see. This is a channel primarily about cross-stitch, but there's more here. So if you like what you see, click like, click subscribe, ring the bell, all that fun stuff. I know that when you fly XrossStitch Airlines, you have a choice among other airlines to view. So thank you for making this choice with me, and I'm so glad to have you here. I always like to take care of any lingering business or funny things from last video or videos prior. And there were several things that are worth mentioning. We had a long discussion about the brain in the jar. Right there. It's not a brain in a jar, but it looks like a brain in a jar. And one of my viewers had said that it was a brain in the jar, and that sparked a lot of controversy. Well, not controversy. It sparked a lot of discussion, and now many of you cannot unsee it. Just like me, can't unsee it. But the funny thing was that someone else said, one of my other viewers said that they saw in my piece of teak driftwood an upside down rubber hand. I got nothing. An upside down rubber hand? I don't see that. And I'm looking in the video now to see if I can see. I just don't see that. Maybe you can take a screenshot and like sketch it out for me so that I can see it. But what I will show you that you cannot see from your vantage point is the very top of this structure, this driftwood. And I had a friend, before I post the video, post the insert photo, I had a friend who, when we first got this and when we redecorated the house, came in and the first words out of their mouth was, "Oh my gosh, the top of that looks like a cat doing a handstand." Here we go. Yes, cat doing a handstand. I see it plain as day. And every single morning when my eyes pop open, I see a cat doing a handstand, which is kind of amazing, actually. So that's just, and who knows what people are going to see in picture up here. I think that that's just hysterical too, that people are calling it that. But yeah, so cat handstand. I have no idea where the upside down rubber glove is, and brain in a jar. Another of my viewers mentioned that the actual term for hashtag is octothorpe. Octothorpe. I did not know that. I was this old when I learned that. Today old when I learned that. Octothorpe. Today's a big day. I have a chapter finished to show you. I have a start to show you. I have some works in progress to show you. We're going to do Wheel of Stories, and we're also going to do the giveaway to celebrate my reaching 2,000 subscribers. So it's an action-packed day here at XrossStitch. And we will, but first I have to tell you, in the ever continuing saga of where did you find the floss this week, Christopher? I found it in the litter box. Let's just leave it at that. I'd like to take a quick moment to shout out 3 of my fellow Flosstubers. All of these people are very distinctly different in their own right, but they are all amazing. and I watch them and they make me smile, and they're just great people. They all mentioned me in their most recent videos, and I just wanted to thank them. The first is Darcy Cameron, who I'm sure you all know. I'm sure you all watch. He's a spitfire, and I adore him, and he gave my mustache some love in his last video, so my mustache thanks you for that. And I thank you for that. You're great, and all your viewers love you, and it's very easy to see why. The second is my friend Kathy at the Flosstube channel called To Die House. She's great. Just so, her stitching is beautiful. She does beautiful finishes, and she's just fun. We've had great conversations over Instagram, and she's a kindred spirit, and I really, really enjoy her. So hi, Kathy, and thank you so much. And the third is Audrey at Stitchy Witch 42. She and I share a love of Alphonse Mucha, and she is working on an amazing Mucha piece right now, which is enormous, but it's absolutely stunning, and her stitching is beautiful, and she's great. She's just got a great kind of low-key vibe energy, and she's great. So if you don't watch any of those three, check them out. They are not nearly in the under 1,000 subs club. They are all three established floss tubers, but they're fabulous. And so thank you, all three of you, for mentioning me. Again, I refer to this collective community of kindness, and I really do appreciate it. So on to the cross stitching. You all know that I have been working on the Wizard of Oz Secret Stitch Along by Satsuma Street. It is a very popular stitch along. It has, you've seen my progress on it from the very beginning. And last week I mentioned that we had received a new chapter and that I had started it, but I hadn't gotten very far. And I made the boastful goal of saying it would be done this week. This last chapter would be done this week, and it is. I did it. I have a chapter finish. This chapter right there of the Wizard of Oz Secret Stitch Along. This is so much fun. I'm going to insert a little video here showing you the progression of the designs from Glenda and the Munchkins to Dorothy and her gang asleep in the poppy field, the Wicked Witch of the West. And this last chapter features Dorothy, the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, and the Lion, apparently after they have made short work of the Witch of the West. I should really look and see what I'm showing. Where they've made short work of the Witch of the West, and they're all very happy. Dorothy is riding on the back of the Cowardly Lion, and the Tin Man has his heart. The Scarecrow is all smiling. I'm going to be very sad when I finish this, truly. It's been so enjoyable. I just love everything about stitching this. And it seems as if everybody who is stitching this as well loves it too. Aside from the border, because the border was a nightmare. Well, not a nightmare, it wasn't hard. It wasn't difficult by any stretch of the imagination. It was just very precise, and there's a lot of counting that goes involved in it. And I did the border first. I have learned by watching many of you experienced people that you stitch the border in increments as you go along. Not me, just like Dolly Parton in the movie 9 to 5, who learned all of her lines for the entire movie on day one. I stitched the entire border at the beginning. But I love it, I'm proud of it, and I can't wait to get the next chapter this Thursday. A few weeks ago, I did a whip parade, not a very long one because I don't have that many whips, but I left one out completely, and she was very hurt by it. I left out my amazing Halloween cat, also by Satsuma Street. I put her aside for a few weeks, I didn't touch her, and I guess that's one of the reasons why. I mean, she was right there in my room, staring at me. But I forgot about her. I worked more. I tried to touch some of the things this week that I hadn't touched in many days, and she was one of them. Again, this is another Satsuma Street design because I adore them and they're fantastic. But I got some more work done on her, and I'm very pleased with it. This doesn't look like a great advance on this chart, but there's a lot of stitches that I put in on this. Simply in the span of that moon and the cloud. That's like, seriously, that's like 200 stitches, which I guess is not that many in the span of stitchery, but still. She was one that I worked on. And then also, yes, it's back, Glendon Place's Sleepy Hollow. Or as I like to call it, my shoulder stand piece. Because every time I show this to you, I do it this way. Again, I had not touched him in a bit. And I picked him back up to put some more stitches on him. You can see from the previous photograph, I made decent progress on him. I got another leg in of the horse, and but I really enjoy this. Many of you started this with me, and many of you started Halloween Cat too because you saw it with me, and y'all are flying on it, on both of them, and I think it's great. I love seeing how well these are turning out for everybody, because they are beautiful patterns, and I'm really enjoying working on both of them. This is all underneath the hashtag of Spooky Summer Stitch, which more and more people are doing, especially as we progress through the summer and near autumn. So keep it coming, keep adding to it. I love going through the Spooky Summer Stitch hashtag, or Octothorpe. Somehow I don't know that that's going to catch on. So I started something this week. Because I finished Hildy's Hayride last week, I went ahead and started a new project that I'm doing, and it is another secret stitch along. I like those things. I think I like the mystery of not knowing what's coming next. And I think it's fun to be working on the same thing with other people, so that you can see what they're doing and how they're doing it and how they're doing it differently from you. I think that's one of the great things about our neighborhood, is that we get to see and share each other's work. But I started the When Witches Go Riding Secret Stitch Along by the Tiny Modernist. And the minute I saw this one, I'm like, well, that just was about 3 weeks too late in the announcement, because I would have announced at the very beginning of Spooky Summer Stitch that I was going to do it. But I started it. We have until the beginning of August to finish this first chapter. And I think I'll finish it by the date. This is my progress thus far. And if any of you watch me or follow me on Instagram, did you see how that scroll just slowly unrolled? It's like, no, I'm going to make my full presence known. This is on a 16 count hand-dyed Aida by Vintage Needle Arts. It is called Cafe au Lait. I just love it. It has beautiful modeling. It looks like parchment, which is what I really wanted for this piece. If you follow me on Instagram, I did a boo-boo, and I misread the chart. It is all on me. But, well, I didn't misread the chart. I just misunderstood the chart, because on the chart, it gives you two options for beginning the design. One in a center line, which is where the angel is, and then one at the 3-inch from either side corner. The back stitching on this piece is also in the same red line that the center line was. So I thought that meant that the back stitching, the red, was the corner from which you start. That's not right. It was 3 inches from the top of the top of the chart, 3 inches. Of course, it was. I mean, it was my mistake, but it was that red line that confused me. So I started it. You can see the holes, and we had a big discussion on Instagram on how to remove the holes and the whole finger behind the thing trick. And I've done it, and it's kind of worked. The thing about this fabric is there's something about the dye or the texture of the dye that has kind of altered the feel of it. So that's not working for me quite as well. I have an idea. Tell me what you think. I want to go in with a Q-tip in water. Just a you hear that? If you hear a leaf blower, I want to go in with a Q-tip, and on the back just saturate those fibers in the hopes that they will expand and close those holes up. What do you think? You think that'll work? Let me know. I think it will. You know I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it unless many of you, rush to me in horror and say, don't you dare do that. And then I won't do that. But I'm going to try it. Another exciting thing about this piece is that it's the first piece that I'm doing in sulky threads. And boy, I love them. They're great. I didn't know what it was going to be like because I've only ever used DMC. I have used overdyed, but still that's kind of the same thing. Well, not the same thing, but it's the same multi-fibered floss. But this is the first time I've ever used sulky threads. And because there were only 5 colors in this chart, I did my own conversion. That sounds real hoity-toity. It wasn't a conversion. I just looked on the chart, looked at the colors, and picked the ones on Etsy that looked the closest to them. There was no research involved. I'm just like, that's a purple, it'll work. But I got the sulky threads for the chart, and I love them. I've only worked in the black, and the nickel thus far, which is the gray. A lot of this chart is in this color. But I really love them. It's very neat. It appeals to my neatness streak, and I just think it's great. So I look forward to continuing to stitch on that, and I look forward to showing you more progress on that next week. But let me know about my Q-tip idea to expand those fibers back, because I know that you'll have good advice one way or the other. I'm going to go ahead and keep this in, what you're about to see. But my apologies for getting so emotional. Clearly, the lady about whom I was speaking meant a great deal to me, and I've not really talked about her in many years. So when I put her on the Wheel of Stories, I did not know that this was necessarily going to have the effect that it did. But who I am is who I am, and I want to be authentic with you every step of the way. So here we go. So this week we're going to do Wheel of Stories. Wheel of Stories is a recurring segment in my Flosstube videos. I alternate it every other week with I guess what you would call my nostalgia moment bits. But this week is Wheel of Stories. So without further ado, I'm going to spin the wheel. It's going. Let's see what it lands on. What is it? Oh, this is a good one. Miss Mary Will's Jonquils. You see it? Miss Mary Will's Jonquils. Okay, so all right, I get emotional. And I haven't even told the story. Okay. Rein it in, Christopher. I was an only child on a street of widow women. I lived on a street called Vernon Street, and it was kind of an adjacent, one of the main streets actually through town. And it was adjacent to all the stores or whatever. But you got to understand, when I say adjacent to all the stores, this was not an urban place. Vernon Street, from my house down to where Bill's Dollar Store was like, you know, it was tree lined and beautiful little houses, and you know, it was Mayberry. But I was the only child on that particular street because, well, for many years, because next to us was the church and then the parsonage, and for much of my young childhood, all of our preachers didn't have children, or they were grown. And then there were widowed women who lived down the street. There was Miss Leela, and there was you know, Miss Chloe, and just several. But one of them was Miss Mary Will. And Miss Mary Will was an amazing lady. She was an English teacher, and had actually, during the war years, gone to she actually went to the UK. There was a teacher exchange program between the United States and the United Kingdom. And I believe this was immediately in the years after the war. And she went over and taught English literature and in England. So, and because I was such a reader, and because I was such a, you know, precocious child, Mary Will and I hit it off. She had the most beautiful jonquils growing, or daffodils, growing in her, along her path to her house, which was immaculate. And every time my grandmother and I would walk to town, in the spring, I would always want to, see, I'm getting choked up, and I already know the end of the story, and but I can't do it. We would be walking down the street, and I would want to pick one of those flowers, and I'd do it. You know, Granny, I'd plan it. I would plan it as I approached, because my grandmother didn't want me to do it. And every time, Miss Mary Will would come out on her front porch, and she'd say, "Marie, you let that child pick that jonquil. That's what they're there for." She had this wonderfully refined and elevated Southern accent. It was very, she never articulated an R in her life. And she was wonderful. Her living room was covered in needlepoint that she had sewn. Her chairs were covered in, she had a full set of Wedgwood china, beautiful blue Wedgwood china, with all the heroes and characters from Greek mythology. And I would go in, and she would talk to me about them. And she loved to hear about stories that I'd read, and Sherlock Holmes and any of the British authors. We would have long conversations. She was absolutely a divine creature on the face of this earth. And everyone loved her. Everyone loved her. So, you know, she was throughout my life, throughout my childhood and my adolescence, and, you know, all the way through my high school years. And one Saturday, shortly before, one Saturday shortly before I went away to college my freshman year, I was driving around the block. There was only one. And I saw Miss Mary Will walking. She walked. She was very, you know, fit. And she was elderly. You know, she was in her, no, she had to have been in her 80s at this point, but she was a go-getter. She was walking, and I had not seen her in several weeks for some reason. And I pulled over, and I hopped out of the car, and I ran up and I hugged her. And I said, Miss MaryWill, I'm not going to see you very much coming up. I'm going, you know, I'm leaving for school. And she, of course, she knew. She knew where I was going, what college I was going, and all that jazz. But she was very sweet. And she said to me, oh God, why am I doing this? I go on Flosstube to just cry for people. No, sorry, I had to compose myself. But MaryWill said to me, you know, something that I've taken with me my entire life. She said, Christopher, I never look at a spring flower when I don't think of you. So here's the moral of that story. And I'm not, you know, I don't ever want to get preachy. Or, you know, because I'm nobody. I'm just, you know, I'm not a psychologist or whatever. But here's the moral of that story to me. You never know how you affect people, and you never know what impact you have on their lives. You never should look back on your life and think at any moment that it was meaningless, or that you didn't achieve what you wanted to achieve, or do the things you wanted to do. You have purpose in this world. And sometimes the smallest things will be gifts that you give people, some of whom you may never know, for the rest of their lives. You have no idea how you touch people as you move through this world. MaryWill probably had no idea what she did for me, but she changed me irrevocably, and I'm all the better for it. And I'm so happy to share her with you, because what is remembered lives. And so yeah, think of MaryWill when you see a daffodil every spring. I think she'd like that. This week I didn't have much haul at all. Again, I've ordered a few things, but they've just not arrived yet. But I did receive 2 wonderful pieces of happy mail. The first piece of happy mail I received was actually from one of my viewers who would rather remain anonymous. But the viewer actually went through Artie at the Vintage Stitcher, a friend of mine and a floss tuber I'm sure you all know. She's amazing. But Artie is also a very accomplished sewer and makes wonderful project bags. And this viewer contacted Artie and asked that she send me one of her project bags. And I love this thing. This is a great design for a project bag. There's no zipper. It has the magnetic closure, and it's like an envelope. And right now, what I'm using this for actually is not for a project. It's actually to store my rolled finishes. I have Hildy in there right now. But thank you so much. You know who you are. Thank you very much. And thank you, Artie, for getting that to me and for such a beautiful project bag. So beautifully done. Thank you so much. The other piece of happy mail that I received, which again, and you guys, you really touch me with how thoughtful and kind you are. It just means the world. There are not enough words in our language to convey it, how appreciative I am. But Belinda Z, a dear sweet lady, sent me a lovely letter accompanied with a fantastic chart. And I hope the glare doesn't bug you on. Oh, you can see it pretty well. It's a Merry Christmas chart from the cottage garden. So I love it. I love it, actually. I have some overdyes that were gifted to me by Crazy Band Lady Stitches. under 1,000 subs club person. I have some overdyes that I know exactly what I'm going to stitch this Merry Christmas in. It says Merry Christmas there. Can you see it? Yes. And I love this chart. Thank you so much. And then she sent me a Mr. Rogers needle minder from Kirkland Design Studio. A Mr. Rogers needle minder. So great. Thank you so much, both of you. I really, really, really do appreciate it. And now for the giveaway, my 2,000 subscribers giveaway celebration. First of all, I'm flabbergasted still that you helped me reach this milestone. And we're having a great time. Let's just keep barreling on. Let's just keep going. All of us. We'll just have a good time together, and we'll keep doing these giveaways every time I hit a milestone. So I'm so happy to share with you what I'm giving away this time. Judy Whitman of JBW Designs, incredibly kind lady, sent me a treasure trove of her work of charts that I am going to use exclusively for this giveaway. All of this giveaway will be exclusively JBW Designs, and I have even a few more left over that I will be using for future giveaways, whatever those may be for. These are great, and I think you are going to love them. They are, we're going to do 3. Again, I'm going to have three winners. Blanket rules. Please be a subscriber to my channel in order to be considered for this giveaway. Like the video. You must be over the age of 18, else I cannot ask you for your address. And please, in your comment, do not use the word giveaway or prize or whatever, because we don't want any of those automatic bot thingies. I had one in the comments. I hope none of you saw it. I had a crazy bot pop up in my comments this last week, and I didn't like it at all. Had nothing to do with giveaways, but it was just rude. But those are the blanket rules. And we're going to do 3 bundles. Bundle 1 is I'm calling Harvest Tidings. And these are what, I hope you didn't see the back of my head. The pulleys and chains are back there. The first is I'm calling Harvest Tidings. And this bundle will consist of 3 of Judy's charts. I will post the bundle here, but I'm also going to show you each one close up on the camera. The first is French Country Owl, which is great. I love Judy, her designs. She does an overall design, but then it's composed of these smaller motifs that are thematic, and I just think that's fantastic. So Harvest Tidings bundle is French Country Owl, Fall in the Round, and Alphabet Owls. So that's bundle 1. And if you would like to be considered for this particular bundle, use the word harvest in your comment. The second bundle, I'm calling the Cool YULE bundle. From Coney Island to the Sunset Strip. Anyway, sorry. That song, that's the first line from a song called Cool YULE. That's why I did that. Cool YULE bundle is composed of Joyeux Noël, which I love this one. Nordic Reindeer, another gorgeous design. These are just the prettiest things. And the third is ABCs and Christmas Trees. So that's the second bundle. If you're interested in being considered for this bundle, use the word YULE, Y-U-L-E, YULE. And the third giveaway is the red bundle. This is, I didn't take it out of the package. I hope the glare is not bad because I just didn't want to disturb it. But this is a collection of vintage red samplers. This is fantastic. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, there are 5 samplers. Yeah, 5 samplers in this booklet, all of which have historical data that Judy compiled about each, and they are actually antique samplers. She has done these all in red. You could obviously do them in whatever you wish to do. And the key word for this bundle is simply red. So I will draw for that in 1 week's time. Again, subscribe, like, no giveaway word, must be 18 or older. Make sure you include that word in your comment, and we will have those, we will be doing that. In my under 1,000 subs club this week, I would like to mention the Daydream Stitcher, Mary at the Daydream Stitcher. She has been a frequent viewer and commenter, well, not frequent, an incredibly loyal viewer and commenter on the channel. And I've recently ventured over to her corner of the neighborhood and checked some of her videos out. And she's great. She stitches beautiful projects. She stitches mirabilias and a wide range of things. She's working on long dogs and things that some spooky things like I like to stitch, and she's just a very versatile stitcher, very soft-spoken and kind. So she just hit 500 subscribers today. I checked this morning, she was at 499, and right now she's at 500. So let's boost her up a little bit too, because she's great. That's my floss tube for today. Thank you so much for taking the time to spend with me. I have enjoyed every moment of it. I look forward to all of your comments. I look forward to figuring out who's going to be the giveaway winners. So make sure that you include those keywords in your comments when you comment. You are wonderful commenters. I love writing each and every one of you back. Always feel free to write me on Instagram or on Gmail, both of which are posted below. Thank you so much for taking the time to spend with me. And until next week, have a happy stitching week and take care. Bye-bye.